is a computer? Though this question seems quite straightforward, that's actually a misdirected assumption to make. Merriam-Webster defines a computer as a usually electronic device that can store, retrieve, and process data, but this definition has one super important word that broadens our answer a lot. That word being usually. Now, I don't think it's any leap in logic to say that most people have a pretty simple idea of what a computer is. Of course, we have PCs, but we also have smartphones, smart watches, Kindles, Nintendo 3DSs, Apple Vision Pros, anything like that can all be put together under the electronic computer umbrella. Remember, though, the definition of a computer says that they are usually electronic. So, what does a non-electronic computer even look like? Well, unsurprisingly, it doesn't look nearly as familiar to us as a PlayStation does. But they have existed for a long time and have historically been super useful. We have Lord Kelvin's tide-predicting computers, Turing machines made out of dominoes, and well, actually, there is a computer that you might be pretty familiar with. In fact, it's arguably one of the most efficient computers ever developed. What is it, you might ask? Well, it's you. Well, okay, technically that's not true, but it's not an altogether incorrect comparison to make. As Merriam-Webster said, a computer is a device that can store, retrieve, and process data. So even though people are not devices, we do fit the criteria by storing, retrieving, and processing data. Not only that, but we use algorithms every single day. I mean, obviously, we use computer programs every day, but we also use algorithms in other ways as well. Folding your clothes, deciding which route to take to work, making food. All of these things utilize algorithms, or step-by-step instructions, that dictate how we go about different processes. And in order to do that, we have to process data, which, as you might remember, is a characteristic of computers. To be clear, though, this isn't a universally accepted comparison. Many brain scientists are actually really critical of this because it can be limiting and hold us back from truly understanding our minds. These people argue that our time is better spent conducting behavioral studies that research things that are unique to people, such as sleep and consciousness. And while I understand the argument that these people make from a research standpoint, I would argue that it remains a super helpful comparison when analyzing our day-to-day lives. Though we are not technically computers, we are able to process data in a similar way. So we can use this comparison to create a plan or algorithm to structure our lives around. So, how do you even create algorithms? Well, people are always creating new algorithms. Well, I guess creating them isn't the right word. It's more like discovering them. It's complicated. There is a lot of debate surrounding this topic, and it hasn't yet reached a neat conclusion. Some people argue that there's an infinite number of algorithms in existence, and we just discover them as we write them, while others argue that we create them as we write them. Frankly, I haven't been able to reach a personal conclusion in my research, and I think that it really just comes down to a personal preference on what words we use to talk about algorithms. If you have a different opinion, though, please shoot it down in the comments. I would love to have a discussion about it. So, algorithms seem to do a lot of heavy lifting in our day-to-day lives, but how much should we let technology do for us? Should we let it dictate the decisions that we make and do jobs for us? Unfortunately, like most questions I've covered today, there isn't really a clear answer to this question. I have personally found algorithms to be a super beneficial tool in my day-to-day life, but that doesn't mean it will be useful for everyone. So do some trial and error and see what works most effectively for you. It gets a lot more complicated when we look at this on a societal level, though. There are so many issues that can arise from excessive technology use on a personal level, so that is exacerbated when we look at things on a larger scale. I mean, we are already seeing how big of an impact AI is having on our ability to work and create, and it will only continue to do so as this technology improves. The integration of this advanced tech into our lives has a huge impact on how we communicate and get work done. So we need to be mindful about making sure to do it in a way that is healthy. And that looks different for everyone. So make sure to do what works best for you. Today we covered a lot. So let's review. First, we found out that computers are devices that are able to process data and that they can be electronic or mechanical. We also saw that humans fit pretty neatly into this description. But they are fundamentally different in a few major ways. We then took this knowledge and investigated one of the huge similarities between people and computers, being that we both use algorithms all of the time. And finally, we investigated how you can incorporate this knowledge into your life. Understanding algorithms that you live by and incorporating new ones into your life can be super helpful and can help lessen your stress, increase your productivity, and live an overall happier life. I seriously hope that these tools are as helpful to you as they were to me. And if you have any further questions, like I said, the comments are always open. To those of you that are still here, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.